Hey guys, my name's Colin. This is Colin Talks Crypto. I thought I'd change up the setting a little bit and also change up the topic a little bit. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency and how it relates to where you live and what I'm personally looking at for the future to safeguard my crypto holdings. Thank you for joining me. Pardon the birds in the background. This is one of those benefits of living in the state of Florida. So I want to preface this video with I am not a financial advisor. I am not a legal expert. Everything I say in this video is not to be construed as those things. Do your own due diligence, do your own research. I am only sharing with you what I am looking at doing in the future as a personal anecdote only. So like many of you, I hold crypto, and I've held crypto for the past about 6 years, and I've seen some crazy high bull runs. I've seen some bear markets like we're in now, and I recognize one thing, that these cycles are not going to go away. I also recognize that the amount of market saturation that cryptocurrency has as a whole and the entire global economy is a pea in a bucket. It's a grain of sand in a beach. It's so small. We have so far to go from reaching global market saturation when it comes to the cryptocurrency economy. If you look at the coin market cap, total cryptocurrency market cap right now, it's in the hundreds of billions figure. It's not even in the trillions figure. So it's not very big. If you look at any other asset class like gold or stocks or properties, these are all in the many, many trillions of dollars. And based on what my understanding is of crypto, it is a superior asset class to all these other things. So I can only know for myself, I know that in time, it's only going to grow and surpass many of these other asset classes. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It could happen in the next decade, 2 decades. I think it's going to be rather fast, but also it is going to be take a bit of time because we are talking about a very broad thing here. We're talking about revamping money and currency and economy for the entire planet. And that's no small undertaking. That being said, we are in the era of the internet and things go a lot more quickly than, for example, back when we were trying to adopt the microwave oven or the refrigerator or the cell phone. Now things go a lot faster. And so I've covered that in the previous video I did. I think it was called the S-curve of adoption. If you haven't watched that already, I highly recommend you do. And that's sort of a basis for my confidence in cryptocurrency as an asset class. And that's sort of what I'm going to base the rest of what I'm telling you in this video on. So I've been looking at how do I secure and safeguard my crypto holdings. And like many of you, I hope like many of you, you've probably seen some pretty tremendous gains with your crypto holdings. And also like many of you, I know that you hate it at the end of the tax year when you have to pay Uncle Sam, whether it's 20% for long-term holdings or up to 40% for short-term trades, etc. I know you hate that, and I do too. And when you get to a certain amount of dollars, it becomes unbearable. It becomes ridiculous. So it gets to a certain point where it just becomes too much. And that's a very personal thing. You may feel that, $10,000 a year is too much. You may think that $100,000 a year is too much. You may think that $1 million a year is too much for taxes to be taken out of your crypto trades. And so all I know is that I have reached my threshold. I have reached the amount that I am willing to part with every year. And I also noticed, and maybe you guys can relate to this, but because of my recent understandings of the tax implications of doing crypto trades, I now think with it every time I'm going to do a trade, whether it's crypto to dollars or whether it's crypto to crypto, because I am well aware that crypto to crypto does count. Sorry about that, my camera just fell over because it's so windy out here. So I'm well aware that whether it's crypto to crypto or crypto to dollars, that is going to be taxed, whether it's a short-term capital gain or a long-term capital gain at the end of the tax year. So because of that, now if I want to make a trade, I suddenly have this extra factor to factor into the equation. And sometimes it's inhibiting my willingness to do the trade. And that's where I draw the line, because my country and the laws within it are prohibiting me from maximizing my decision making and maximizing my income potential, because I can't even make the trades that I want to make because I know that the tax burden afterwards is going to be prohibitive or is going to put more of the risk on my shoulders than I want to have. I'm already taking a tremendous risk, as you guys can relate. You know, making a crypto trade is no small thing. You have to do your due diligence and trade from one asset to another, and maybe it's not always the best decision, but it doesn't matter. Uncle Sam's going to take a cut of that regardless. So you're already taking a huge risk and doing your due diligence, but then on the top of it, at the end of the year, you're going to get taxed. So it becomes very prohibitive, especially with larger dollar amounts, to do crypto trades when you have this tax liability at the end of the year of 20 to 40%. So with that, I'm going to get to the final point of this video, which is, where is it smart to live? I'm going to argue it's not smart to live in America because the tax rules are so prohibitive that, yeah, it gets in the way of making a good amount of money. So for a while now, I was actually following people like the Nomad Capitalist, he's a YouTube guy, and just doing my research on where could I move to if I had to minimize how much taxes I paid. And I don't really want to renounce my US citizenship. You know, I do like the country. I like the country minus the huge taxes. And so I know there's gonna be plenty of you guys in the comments who say that, you know, tax is there for a reason and where will the roads come from. That's an entirely different video. We'll get to that some other time. You guys can do your research on that if you wish, because there's a lot of different viewpoints on the subject of the validity of taxes. It's really a personal matter. If a person wants to renounce their citizenship, they are by all means entitled to do so, and then live in another country and then follow the rules of that land. And that's totally fine, right? That's an individual choice. That's a free market of countries at work. Thank God for that, right? Well, I was listening to a podcast. It was actually a Data Dash podcast. Shout out to Data Dash. And he had a guest, Mike Maloney, on there. And Mike Maloney is a highly respected figure. He's a gold and crypto advocate. He's mostly a gold and silver advocate, but he's recently got into crypto. And he's open to the idea of crypto. And I think he values it, you know, probably third in the order of gold, silver, and then crypto. I think the guy's got a good head on his shoulders for sure. Well-respected guy. And in this video, he just threw out there casually, just kind of threw out there about an hour into the video, in about a minute or two, he's like, oh, and by the way, I live in Puerto Rico and I get no taxes because of Act 20 and Act 22. I get no taxes on my capital gains for my crypto trades. And I was like, what? Like, wait a minute, what did you just say? And so I did some more research on this, and this is like heavy on my radar right now. And I would not be surprised if you guys watch me in 6 months from now. I will be recording videos and I'll be sitting in Puerto Rico. And this is why. So Puerto Rico, as he said, has Act 20 and Act 22, which are two laws in this jurisdiction. So Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. It is not a U.S. state. And again, I'm not an expert in all this. I'm just giving you what I've absorbed so far. Some of it may even be incorrect. So please do your own due diligence. But in Puerto Rico, it's not a state, it's a U.S. territory. And as such, it is governed by its own set of laws and rules. So for example, you can't vote in a U.S. election, but you still are a U.S. citizen. You do not have to renounce your citizenship, and you do not have to get rid of your U.S. passport. So that's pretty cool. Still a U.S. citizen, like I said I wanted to be at the beginning of this video. But you do have to live in Puerto Rico for 183 days of the year, which, with my research, is a lot better than a lot of these other options. Like if you still want to be a citizen in America, but you want to reduce your taxes, you can only really be in the country for 30 days or 60 days maximum if you want to spend most of your time traveling abroad. That is another way to reduce your tax liabilities. You just can't be in America for very long of the year. So if you like traveling and you don't want to be fixated in one location, maybe that's a good option for you. And that's something that the Nomad Capitalist YouTube guy promotes quite a lot. Now, I, on the other hand, do like America, do like being a U.S. citizen, do want to be able to spend at least a significant portion of my time in the country. I'm okay with being in Puerto Rico, which is still in the country, for 183 days of the year. And then the other 182 days of the year, I can be in California or Florida or New York or wherever I want. And I still get the same exact tax exemption that I'm going to talk about. And so what is the tax exemption? So this is where it gets really good. So if you move to Puerto Rico and you qualify, and it's not that hard to qualify, you can then become eligible for Act 20 and Act 22. So Act 20 is for business owners, and it can reduce your taxes down to about 4% for income taxes. This is good for business owners. Act 22 is good for capital gains, getting it down to 0%. In America, you can pay, like I said, a long-term capital gains of about 20%, a short-term capital gains of about up to 37%, I think it is. You know, I might be off on that, but it's high. And so for that reason, I've made sure to do all my trades as long-term capital gains. But again, I feel that very restrictive. So if you qualify for Act 22 in Puerto Rico, you get 0% taxes on your capital gains trades. Whether it's long-term, short-term, it doesn't matter. And that is how Puerto Rico is enticing people to come to its territory. And so there are a number of criteria that you have to prove to show that you are a resident of Puerto Rico. For example, 183 days of being in the territory of Puerto Rico. You have to have, you know, a provable residency. You can't have your main residence in America. You have to have it in Puerto Rico. You need a, you know, a Puerto Rican driver's license, Puerto Rican bank account, etc. And so once you qualify, there's more things than that. And once you qualify for all these things, then you become eligible for Act 22. And from that point forward, every crypto trade you do is taxed at 0%. Whether it's from crypto to dollars, crypto to crypto, 0%. That is amazing to me. And that is why this is hot on my radar. Because like I said, crypto is not going away anytime soon. It is only going to be getting bigger. And therefore, my and your bags are only going to get heavier in their value that we're holding. And so I just am not willing to part with that in the future. And I'm looking way into the future on this, and I'm making a decision that's going to benefit me way down the road. If you can save 50 G's a year on crypto trading taxes, that cumulative compound reinvestment that you have at your disposal could turn into millions down the road. And I'm not willing to give millions to the government for my crypto trades. I want that in my pocket. And so for me, I am strongly considering going to Puerto Rico as a place of residence, as a place of a safe haven for my crypto assets, and to safeguard my future with what I know is where the future of crypto is going. It's only getting bigger. So a couple things to note about Puerto Rico is it is a primarily Spanish-speaking territory. We took it over as America like 100 years ago, but it is like 90% Spanish-speaking, 10% English-speaking. But with the research I've done, there are pockets of primarily English-speaking areas, such as Dorado or San Juan, and you can find these gated, very upscale English-speaking communities. For example, a giant gated community with 5 sub-communities and pools and a humongous area in between where it's primarily English-speaking. So you don't have to feel like you're forced into speaking Spanish. Although I do plan on learning some Spanish while I'm down there because I think it'll just make things easier. But I don't have to feel rushed into that because I can take my time and live in a nice English-speaking area. So that is one factor to take into account. Another factor is the amazing food. You got Puerto Rican food, which I look forward to. I love that kind of food. So that's a plus for me. And yeah, there's the hurricane that happened a couple years ago, but the country is rebuilding. You do want to have a backup generator in case you get any kind of severe weather. I'm just kind of shooting things off the top of my head. These are requirements for me when I move down there. But it is possible to live somewhere very nice, very upscale. And there are quite a few crypto people down there that I've found. You do a search on YouTube for Puerto Rico and crypto, and you will find quite a few people down there, probably way more than I'm aware of. I've just done a surface search, and they're all down there for a reason. And I'm telling you, it's not just because of the nice beaches, because you can find those here in Florida as well. We have beautiful beaches. But you know, I think I'd rather have a beautiful beach and 0% crypto tax trades. Okay guys, I think I've made this video long enough. Let me know what you think. Do you already live down in Puerto Rico? If so, how do you like it? Do you know others who have gone down there? Are you considering going down there? What do you think about it? And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. My name's Colin. This is Colin Talks Crypto. Have a fantastic day. And I'll be sure to let you know how this adventure unfolds for me in the months to come, because it's looking very, very likely. All right, guys, thanks for watching.